Hello and welcome back to Backstage Spotlight. We've got our very special guest today, Luke Bayer.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. You are my first guest on my podcast. Can you believe it?
The first, I'm
Yeah.
honored.
Yes. I'm so
Oh my
excited
God,
for
thank
this.
you.
Thank you so much for
Bless
joining
you.
me.
My pleasure, thank you.
How have you been?
All good, thanks. Busy.
Has it
Lots,
been
lots of stuff going
hectic?
on. Juggling all the plates as we do as a creative. You have to juggle all the plates, and that's what I've been doing. So all
Good.
good. Can't complain.
I
How about
wanted
you?
I'm good. I've just in college, like it's getting hectic. We've just found out our third year musicals. It's just madness getting the script, the score, all of that.
What are they? Can you say?
Yes, so we're doing Company, Drowsy Chaperone, and Kip's Half a Sixpence.
Great. They're
Yeah.
wicked shows.
Yeah, and I'm in Company, so
Okay.
I'm like, really excited about that one.
Oh, sick. Come on.
Did you go to a musical theatre college?
I went to Mount View.
Yes. And what were your shows?
We did. So the years kind of split in half. So me personally, I did Curtains,
Yeah.
um, Pal Joey, which I was the dance captain on. LOL.
Nice.
People were like, "What's this choreo?" And I was like, "I don't know, darling. What is it?" Um, so we did Pal Joey and Grease.
Oh, they're good ones.
Yeah, so it was fun. And then they also did like a play. They did Bonnie and Clyde, but I wasn't in that one. There's a couple of other things, but they kind of split the year. So
That's good. I
yeah,
was rehearsing at Mount View last week for Super U, and the building is huge.
it's mad, isn't it? I wasn't in that building. I was in the old building.
Have you seen the new building?
I've been to the new building. Yeah, it's mad. It's amazing.
I just walked in and I was like, right, where's Studio 6?
Literally, like, okay, directions, anyone?
And it's
Yeah,
like, it's weird because it's built, it's like you're outside when you're inside because it's all still stone walls.
yeah,
It's mad.
yeah.
It's just huge.
It's
Compared to
crazy.
my college, I'm at Lane, like you've been to Lane, it's
Yeah,
tiny.
yeah.
It is
I
the
love Lane. I think
smallest.
it's great.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
great
it's
school.
nice though. It's like it's the set's so different. The schools are so different. I think when you go and actually like teach there and wander around and meet the students, it's just a different vibe from different places. It's really cool.
Yeah. Can you remember when you came to do your guest teacher classes at Lane?
I did. I loved it. I had so much fun.
I can't
I had
remember
so
what I
much fun.
sang. Um, I know. I sang I Need a Hero.
You did. Did you sing? Did you sing? I might be completely wrong. So if I am, be like, no. Did you not sing "I'm Walking on Sunshine" as well?
No, just the one.
Oh, I feel like you sung something else after that.
I can't remember. Maybe I did. Maybe it was an out of body experience.
I feel like you did, but here we are.
Here we are.
Loved it. I'd love going into schools and teaching. I think it's so inspiring for me as well to see
Yeah.
like young upcoming talent. Because I feel a tiny, teeny bit old now. Not old, but like older.
What's the audition scene looking like?
But for me right now,
Yeah.
I've had a few different bits and pieces. I've kind of like had a few like very close calls with things this year and not got them. Um,
Oh, what does that feel like?
I mean, it's gutting because you get so close, but sometimes like I had a final for a show I've been in foreign town multiple times, and there
Yeah.
was two of us left for one of the parts in the show, and I think I'd done two material rounds, and then the final round I went in, I had to do the dance, which I learned and I really enjoyed, and then I did the final material round, and I just felt disheveled. Is how I
Mm,
would describe myself that day. I didn't look great. I remember being stood outside before I went in to do the material, and I thought I look messy. I look messy, and I
yeah.
need to look better. But that's on me, and we learned from all these experiences. And I
And
was
you just
like,
have those days, don't you, where it's not working that day and you
not
just got
it.
to just
It's
go
not
away
it
and
completely. And I came out of that final, and I was like, I honestly felt like I was on autopilot. I couldn't tell you if I was good. I couldn't tell you if I sung in tune. I literally came out and was like, I'd love to go back in and do that again. But I also feel like
yeah.
that was kind of learning curve for me to kind of take control of the situation and go, I'm so sorry. Can I just have 2 seconds and then we'll go again? Because I wasn't giving my best work and I came
Mm,
away feeling frustrated that I'd not done the best work.
yeah.
Do you
What
know what I
would you
mean?
say you would do before an audition to prepare? Like, what's your, like, ritual, like, pre-audition
Uh,
ritual?
Preparing for an audition, my dad used to say to me when I was younger, he used to say, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. And
Yeah,
you
that's a
know
good
what? Charlie Bayer is right. He's not wrong. Um,
one.
the times when I've prepared, because then you can go in and you can do what you do, and then you can come away and go, do you know what? I did a really good audition. I'm proud of myself. And then if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But at
Yeah,
least you
exactly.
go, I've done a good job and I've represented myself well. Whereas sometimes when I've not prepared well enough, I come away from auditions and I'm like, oh, that was messy, and I let myself down. But where you can't really gauge with auditions a lot of the time, I think sometimes the only kind of feedback you can get sometimes is yourself, because you know what you can do.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
That's how I feel,
completely.
and I can kind of, the more auditions I've done, I can kind of correct myself.
Yeah. And what's your top tip for staying calm in the room?
Top tip for staying calm in the room would be to breathe before you go in.
Yeah,
Remember, it's not that deep. No one's gonna die.
yeah,
Um, you do it because you love it. We all do it because we love it. And I think it's
yeah,
so easy when we go and train, everything becomes really heightened, and we know a lot of information about different singing types, vocal techniques, how to present yourself, that actually sometimes just being yourself and walking into a room and going, hey, how's it going? You good? Yeah, I'm good,
yeah,
thanks. Yeah, love the material. Let's give it a go and see how we go. Just like really taking the pressure off
mm,
ourselves, which I feel like we put on ourselves a lot of the time, I think.
yeah, and I
So
feel
that
like
would be
most of it is just about being a human being. Like, creatives want to see that you're literally just like a person and
oh
that
my
you'll
God.
just go have fun, you'll be a good person to work with, a nice person to be in the room. And I think people forget when they go into auditions that, like, it's not about being perfect, it's not about like presenting yourself like a model performer, because you are human and you are going to get things wrong. You just have to show you've got personality and that you're ready to like learn, ready to take things on.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think we forget that sometimes. I think it's just
Yeah.
about going, oh, if I come away from this audition, I feel like I've done a really good job, but it doesn't go my way, that's fine. I literally had an audition last week, and I got the audition through, and I thought, I don't think this is my job. Like, reading the script, and obviously I'm thrilled to be called in. I'm really really grateful that I've been called in. But I was like, I don't think this is my job. I'm going to do the best work I can do and present myself in the best way I can for the role I've been called in for, but it's not my gig. And I went
Yeah.
in, I was really chill because I took all the pressure off myself, and I did a really good audition. And then the next day I got feedback saying, thanks so much for coming in. It's not going to go any further, but the team really enjoyed meeting Luke and he did a great job. And I'm like, that's great. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
That's so,
hopefully then
yeah,
further down the line, I'll get called in again for that casting director when something that is more suitable for me comes up. You can't be
exactly.
right for everything. And I think that's kind of a good thing to know as well, so that that takes the pressure off.
Yeah. A lot of the time it's like appearance, height. Like, it's just down to that, the like the small things like that that you just can't control.
Completely, so many things. So yeah.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the shows you've done. If this might be a really hard question, but what is your favorite job that you have ever done? And you can do a top three if it's a hard question.
Um, I'm gonna go. My it is so hard because I've done some like really great shows with like great people. I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
My top three. I'm not gonna go one, two, three. But I'm gonna say Jamie back in the
Yeah,
day.
of
That feels
course.
like 400 million years ago. But just the whole thing from like doing the audition and getting the job.
Yeah,
And I before I got Jamie, I was about to quit. I was literally about to quit performing. Um,
really.
yeah, I was like, I just can't do it. I'd come out of college and I was being really hard to myself. I was going into audition rooms and just like bottling it and just being rubbish. I was
Mhm.
just generally being rubbish, and then coming away feeling deflated. And I was like, I don't know where this energy has come from that I've kind of locked myself in. And my Jamie audition came through. I didn't initially get an audition for it. Um, and I signed with a new agent, Jamie Sampson at 33, absolute legend. Shout out. And he got me in the room, and I did two auditions. Then on my second audition for it, I got told in the room that I'd booked the job. And I was like,
Wow.
wow. So that, even from that point, I was like, this is mental. It's like so weird how the universe like redirects you and puts
Yeah.
you in the right places at the right time. And obviously that was like a brand new show at the time, and I didn't really know much about it. I'd heard the music and I loved it. But that was like a real like goalpost moment of like a huge tick from younger me of wanting to be in the West End, wanting to be in an original West End show. Getting
Yeah.
to play the lead in a brand new show as well was mental. Like
That is
it
so,
was
yeah,
that
it's
was a
insane.
crazy time. And I learned a lot doing that job as well. And yeah, that feels literally, I started that job 6 years ago, which is insane.
Wow.
It's
That
so weird.
was that your West End debut?
Yeah,
That's so
yeah,
special.
yeah. It was crazy. It was a crazy time. And because I started in the show as a swing as well. I was a swing and first cover Jamie.
Yeah.
Um, but obviously when a show is brand new, there was John McCree, who was the original Jamie, who is
Yeah.
absolute sensation.
Amazing.
Um,
Yeah.
I used to stand and watch him and sit and watch him in the box before I ever went on as Jamie and be like, I can't do it. He's too good. Just in sheer fear, like, because he was so brilliant. Um, and I was a swing as well, which Jamie's quite a dancey show, like Kate Prince, Zoo
Yeah.
Nation, fantastic. The choreo is unreal. And I remember just being like, oh my God, there's so much dancing, as well as learning all the Jamie track. And there was the pressure of like, if John went off at any point in previews or early days of the show, I would have to go on, and stuff was still changing. Like songs were getting cut and changed, lines
Yeah.
were getting cut and changed. You've got to kind of try and stay on top of all that, as well as all the ensemble choreo and bits and pieces like that.
Yeah. It's
Um,
a lot of pressure.
well, yeah, but like I look back on it now, and I remember when they called me to go on for my first Jamie show. I think it was like March. The show opened in October. I didn't go on until March, and I remember I'd had a horrific sty on my eye. I'd never in my entire life had a sty. When I say to you, my eye was swollen shut.
Oh my
Like I
gosh.
think I was on for about 3 or 4 days, and I literally did it with like one eye.
No.
So, but I remember just being like, okay, let's go. I'm ready for this. I've been waiting for this moment, and I was lucky because I'd had cover runs. I'd had
Oh,
first
good.
cover run,
Yeah.
so I felt like I was in a good place to go on. But I learned a lot on that job, and I'm forever grateful for that opportunity. And I love that show and the message and how much it
Yeah. It's
means to so many
great.
people. Oh, it's a brilliant show. And then I would say Rent, that I did at the Hope Mill.
Wow. Yeah.
Uh,
That's such a good show.
just- oh my God, I love Rent. I feel like for musical theatre people, students, fans, it's such an epic show. And it's like, it was a real like revolutionary, like breakthrough show in terms
Yeah.
of its message and the representation and all these things. And to get to do that show was like a real bucket list moment. Um,
Yeah.
and I sometimes don't think, I definitely did with this one, but I sometimes think when you're doing something like that you love so much, it's so easy to forget, like, you're like, oh my God, I'm actually doing the thing. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was a real, like a joy. Like the cast were phenomenal. It was just the best experience. I cried my eyes out when it finished, and I was like, no. So
Yeah.
we're still all like rooting for that production to come back because it was so special,
That would be so good if it came back.
right?
Yeah.
Come on, theatre gods, please.
Yes. Rent, bring it
Um,
back.
literally, Rent, please. And then my third show would have to be Diva Live from Hell, which was my one-man show I did last summer.
Wow. Yeah. How was
Because
that?
that was like, it was mental. It was truly, honestly mental. But I had so much fun. It was wild. I remember getting the script, and the wonderful Jordan Walker, who he was the understudy Desmond. We got to rehearsals on the first day. I think we only started rehearsals like a week or 10 days before we opened. We got to the first day of rehearsals, and he was like, oh, how much have you learned of the script? And I was like, oh, none. And he laughed, and he was like, no, seriously. And I was like, no, Jordan, I truly, I haven't learned it yet, because I was doing Millennials before at the other Palace, so it crossed
Yes, I
over.
remember watching that.
Yeah, which was also a super fun show.
Yeah.
But I just remember being like overwhelmed at how much I had to learn and how much I had to
Yeah.
do. I had to really look after myself. I think there was about 13 songs in the show. I
Wow.
had like different characters. There was five different characters, different like physicalities, different vocal qualities.
Yeah. And holding the audience for that amount of time with that many different things, that's
Literally
huge.
kind of terrifying. And I feel like from that experience, I'm like, nothing will ever phase me again.
Yeah,
Because if I could
that
get
is
through
huge.
that, I remember in one of the first previews, there was a scene between Desmond's like Rachel Berry, and he's like really horrible and a bit of a bitch. And then you've got Ali Hewitt, who like idolizes Desmond, and she's like, Desmond, I love you, Desmond. And she's got like, in my head, she's got pre-notes. And then Mr. Dell, the head of drama, Desmond, like talks like this. And I was talking between the three characters and I got completely lost. I couldn't remember any of the lines. And I just carried on ad-libbing as the three characters jumping between for about
That is
a minute,
brilliant.
2 minutes. And internally I was going, there was like alarms like ringing in my head. And I was going, just
Like,
carry on.
what
And
do I
luckily,
do?
literally. And luckily I found the script and I made it back through onto the script. But
Oh,
it
good. You
was,
just got to carry on when stuff like that happens. Like, what do you
there
do?
was there was nothing I could do. I was
No
like,
one to
as
bounce
soon as
off
the
as
person said,
well.
this, I was like, Luke, you have to save yourself. So they would be my three, but I mean, amongst some like very, very good and very special
Oh
shows, I feel
yeah.
very lucky.
Yeah, great. And if you could pick like one part to play of something to come to the West End, like anything, you don't have to be castable for it, what would be the next thing you'd want to do?
Oh, I would have loved to have played Orpheus in Hadestown, but I just don't
Oh,
play guitar. I've never played guitar. I was like,
shame.
no. I mean, I could try and learn, um, but I just love the music and I love the story of that.
Hadestown is the score is just phenomenal. I can't wait to see it. It's coming to the
Me
West
too.
End.
Me too. I'm so excited. And the cast from the preview launch thing
Yeah,
sounds
I saw
unreal.
that. That sounded
Yeah.
phenomenal. I can't wait to
Yes.
see that. That's going
I'm
to
very
be
excited.
great. Yeah, so great.
Um, I don't know actually. Other than that, um, I love doing new stuff. I
Yeah,
love like being able to put your voice to something for the first time, or like a complete rework of something like Rent. The Rent we did was a complete rework. So we
yeah,
were on stage the whole time. There was like quite a lot of like dancing and choreo in it. Tom Jackson Greaves choreographed it, who is sensational. And yeah, it was like I loved doing all that and like being able to play and
yeah.
yeah,
Like workshopping sort of new stuff.
yeah, for sure. And being like, oh, that doesn't fit in my voice how it might have fit before, but like, can we try this instead, or like option this? And I think that's so fun to play around with. And I feel like there's a real like resurgence, if that's the right word, of
Yeah,
like people wanting that, which is great, of like remaking and
yeah.
reworking. Look at Sunset Boulevard, like a complete remake.
I feel like at the
So cool.
moment as well, like that is just it just keeps growing new stuff like the new Oklahoma, like new revivals of classics. And I think that at
Right.
the moment it's like very like in.
It's so great. It's really great.
Yeah. What's next for you then?
Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm working. So I juggle lots of plates, like I said to you at the beginning, and I think it's really important to like find other things that inspire you. So we're not
Yeah,
like completely dependent on always being in a show, or like because that's not, it's
yeah.
not with
Like a
love, it's not
hobby that's
realistic.
completely separate.
Completely. And like I feel like this year, because I did Head Over Heels at the start of the year, which finished in March, and then I haven't
Yeah.
been in a musical since that. I've been doing like bits of concerts, bits of gigs, like working on my voice. Um, I work at a casting studio in London, which
Nice.
I absolutely love. I kind of fell into that by my friend, and I work for one of the casting directors there, which I also love. And it's just
That's
kind of
great.
like finding different strings to your bow and like
Yeah.
constantly what things learning. I've been running for some auditions. I've been
Great.
teaching, which I love doing. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like about, for me, this year has been about like just being really present and like taking things as they come. Uh,
Yeah. That's the
um,
best way to be.
completely, which I feel like sometimes we're like, you can be in a show and you're like loving the show and you're really grateful, and that at one point was like your dream show and your dream role, but you're in that show and then you're like, right, okay, what's next? I need to be in for this now. And it's so important to kind of stay present and be like, you know, I'm just going to check in with myself. I'm in a
Yeah.
really good place. If that's meant to be and I'm meant to get an audition for that, I will do my best work, and then I will go to that audition, do my best work, similar to what I was saying before. And then you kind of take the pressure off yourself and you
Yeah.
go, if that doesn't work out, I'll have a bit of free time. What can I do in that free time? I'm going to make myself better in whatever that might be. It might be like a life thing, it might be a performance industry career related thing, or there's just so many facets that I think it's just so good to just have all those like strings.
You're living in the moment.
Completely. I think it's really important.
Yeah. I've got a game for us to play.
I love a game.
So it might start out quite, quite easy. And then the answers I think you'll find will be harder. So
Oh,
it's a would you rather theatre edition.
okay.
So we'll start easy with, would you rather be cast in a West End show or a Broadway show?
Broadway, because I haven't done it.
Yeah. Tick a box off your bucket list.
Tick, tick, come on. Tick, 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 100% done in.
I love your Instagram videos, by the way.
God.
If
I've
you
got
guys
imposter
haven't
syndrome now.
seen, oh, if you haven't seen Luke's videos on Instagram, they are hilarious. You put on
I'm
this
100% done in.
voice.
When you get a no from an audition, I don't take no's because I only get yes. It's okay.
It's brilliant. I love it.
Oh God.
It's so funny. I was watching them last night. I was like, oh my gosh, like you need to do this on the podcast. You need to recreate it. It's so good.
Right.
It's so
Oh, so
good. And
cool.
it makes other people happy. Like videos like that. It's just
You know what I
I
mean?
love watching
I
them.
literally posted them and I had imposter syndrome and I posted them and then people were messaging me like, oh my God, please keep doing these. They brought me so much joy. I was
Yeah.
running at some auditions and people were coming up to me at the auditions going, I'm 100% stunning. And one girl came up to me and said, I've just literally sent a voice note to my like girl group from college saying to them before I go in, doesn't matter if I don't get it because I'm 100% stunning. And I was like, it's just so, I just think that's what I mean. I feel like let's just find the joy and like embrace
Yeah,
the,
exactly.
so I just think I love stuff like that. So I just thought, you know what? Let's just do it.
It's so good. Right.
Honestly.
Next question. Would you rather be cast in a well-known classic revival or a new musical?
A new musical.
Okay. I feel like that's quite a hard one because both are quite similar but very different.
Yeah, it kind of like that kind of goes back to what we were saying before.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for a new musical just because again, no one's done it ever before.
Yeah.
I just think that's
I love
insane.
that. Would you rather only be able to listen to one cast recording for the rest of your life or be able to listen to every cast recording but you can't revisit them? You can only listen to them once.
Ooh. Oh. I'm gonna go the second one because I get like obsessed with things and I listen to it on repeat for like 2 months and then I don't listen to it again for like 5 years.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna go with the
literally.
second
That's
one
like
because then
me.
at least I get to listen to loads of other ones.
Yeah, like a variety.
I reckon.
Yeah. Would you rather direct a show or choreograph
Direct.
it?
Choreographing the show, I would have crazy imposter syndrome and be like, does anyone have any ideas for my move? Okay, not a problem. Honestly, I could never choreograph. I'd have mad imposters. Even thinking about it, I feel like I've gone red when you asked me that question. I can teach choreo if it's from something I've been in and I know it very
Yeah,
well, but I'm not a dancer in that I could
like
be given
creating.
choreography.
Yeah,
No,
it's hard.
no. But I think it's so hard, and it's
Mm,
amazing when you see it all come together, and you're like, wow.
mm.
But I actually would love to direct some stuff. I really like watching and kind of.
Yeah, like
I
taking a
would love
step
to.
back, like step out of it and
Yeah.
like a
Oh,
bird's
for
eye
sure. Yeah.
view.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather buy a full price ticket to a show and see it when it comes out, or wait 2 years and get a free ticket?
I'd go and watch it straight away and pay for it.
Yeah, I agree. I
I'm,
would too.
I'm impatient. If I want to see it, I want to see it, and I'll just be like, oh, do you know what? Like I
Yeah,
went to see Next to Normal at the Donmar, and I was like, I think I paid about £60 for my ticket,
yeah,
and I was like, that's a show I wanted to see forever, and if I don't book my ticket now, I won't get a ticket.
yeah, exactly.
And I'm so glad I did because I loved it. So £60 well spent.
Exactly. Right. Are you more of an Elphaba or a Glinda?
Uh, oof. Uh,
Hard
I
one,
think
hey?
maybe I think a Glinda.
Glinda.
Yeah, I reckon because she's just a bit daft. She's a bit. And I think I'm quite a silly person.
That's great.
Um, I mean, they're both badass. I love them both. But I think me personally, like I'm just thinking about like Popular when she like dances around and is a bit silly and a bit
Yeah,
ditzy. I think that's maybe more me.
love that. Okay, this is a hard one. Would you rather always perform and never see shows, or always see shows and never perform?
The first one.
Always perform.
Oh, but never see shows. Yeah, I think so. I feel like it's a hard one because then you've got the balance of like when you're in a show, you actually can't really go see shows. I
Yeah,
remember when I was doing Jamie, The Inheritance was on in town, and I really wanted to see it, and I couldn't see it because we had the same show schedule.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd
And you're
literally have to
so
Skype.
busy.
I was like, I'd have to Skype to go and see it, and then I'd probably get fired for Skyping in disguise at the inheritance. Like, not me, it's not me. I'm 100% studying, but not me. Okay. Um, yeah. So I'd probably choose the first one, but then I would feel sad that I wouldn't get to see things. And
Yeah.
like, as you know, we love to go and watch people we know in things as well, and like support
Yeah.
people. It's
Definitely.
so great. I love going to watch my friends in things and being like, wow. And I always
My
feel
friend.
it's so weird. Literally, that's my friend. And I always feel so weird when I go and watch like my friends in shows because I'm like, oh my God, this is actually mad. And I
Yeah.
always kind of clock and I look at the theatre that's packed full of people and I'm like, that's mad. Like this was once your dream to do this, and you're like doing the thing.
Yeah.
Like
Crazy.
these, it's mental. It's crazy.
It is. Would you rather lead a touring company show, so be the lead, or would you
Mm.
rather be the ensemble in a West End show in town?
Uh, that's a hard one because it would depend on the show, I
Yeah, that's
think.
true.
Um, yeah, I think it would depend on the show.
Say it
But
was
yeah.
Jamie. Would you rather tour with it
Um,
and be Jamie, or would you rather have it in London and ensemble?
I'd rather be Jamie,
Yeah.
just because I actually found it way easier being Jamie than doing the ensemble tracks.
Yeah, because it's one track.
Yeah, and like uh, I think I found the ensemble stuff harder, especially as a swing, because you'd have to jump around and change the choreo and then do things on the other
Yeah.
side. And I have a real respect for swings and people that can just jump in and do that
Oh
because it's
yeah.
so hard. It is so unbelievably hard, and I'm also so glad I did it because I feel like I've done different things. I've covered, I've been an alternate, I've played parts. Like it's so good to have done a bit of everything because then you have a
Yeah.
respect for everyone as well. Not
Yeah.
that people that have just played parts don't, but like you actually have been there and you've done it and you go, God, that was actually so hard. Like I don't think I could ever be a swing again because I found it so hard and really stressful. Whereas some people really thrive on being like at 7 o'clock being told, oh yeah, you're on for this track. My friend Chloe when we did Jamie, they were like, oh, in the opening number you're on for this boys track, and then in the second number you need to move this girl's desk. Like it was literally like I think she played like 4 or 5 tracks in one show.
That is crazy.
And then I'd be on for Jamie, which I've done a million times, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is lovely," and I love playing the part. But it in perspective of that, it felt way more chilled because I wasn't
Yeah.
running around doing other bits. It's
Yeah.
it's a real, it's such a skill. I've got so much respect.
Yeah, it honestly is. Would you rather go back in time and see shows that are now closed, or go forward in time and see the future of theatre?
Go back,
Go back and see shows that have
go
closed.
back. I just love like I'm such a sucker. I love watching all the old videos. Like I love Patti LuPone. I'd love to go back and watch her in all her shows.
Yes, like the classics, like the
You know what I
musical
mean?
theatre, like legends.
Right. Like Evita, like I'd love to see the next to normal original cast with
Yeah.
like Alice Rip. There's so much stuff like that that I just would have loved to have seen. I'd love to have seen the original Wicked with Adina and Kristen.
Oh, yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's so cool though, like how these things happen and then they become like legendary. And some stuff like you have seen and you're like, wow, that's mental that I actually got to see that.
Yeah, like the first of it, like the original cast,
Yeah. Yeah.
or be a part of it if you were the opening, if you did the show
That's
for the first time.
Yeah, that as well. It must be so weird. I've got so many friends like James Gillan, who I did Jamie with. He's done so much stuff, and I'd always ask him loads of questions. And he was in like Wicked when it first opened in London. He was Bok, and I always asked him questions about that. And I
Yeah.
was like, wow, so cool. You've lived such like a. He's done so many shows. He was like Rusty in Starlight Express at the Apollo Victoria before Wicked
Wow.
opened there.
Oh my goodness.
Like, I was just like, that's so iconic. And he's now
Yeah.
doing his Farquaad in the Shrek tour.
Oh,
Uh,
that's brilliant. Yeah, I saw
Oh,
him.
he's so funny. I just love him. But I have so much respect for like the older generation of performers that came before and like did
Yeah.
all this work. It all leads to this point, and I think it's so important that we like look back and champion and like I don't know. I really idolize a lot of those performers like Ruthie Henshall, Kerry
Yes.
Ellis, like legends, like
Yeah.
legends, legends. And I met
Lanie's. Big up the
Laney's.
Lanie's.
Come on,
Yeah.
Laney. But and I've met some of them now, and I'm always like, wow. I'm like, that's so iconic.
Yeah.
Like this, yeah.
Legendary. Okay, I've got two more.
Great.
Would you rather spend 24 hours in cat's makeup or 24 hours in Elphaba makeup?
Elphaba,
The green.
I think. Yeah, let's just go green for a little bit.
Just
Would I
go
get the wig?
green. Yeah, yeah, go on then.
I'd get the wig. Yeah, that'd be sick. What about the dress? Can I have the costume as well, or just the
Yeah,
makeup and the
whole
wig?
costume and a broom.
You're very. Can I ever go in the lift?
That's maybe pushing it a bit.
Okay, fair enough. What about if I had to stay in the lift for 24 hours?
Uh, yeah, you can go in the lift, but you have to stay in it for 24 hours.
Yeah, I'd do that. That would be jokes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that. Alphabet.
Yeah, come on, Alphaba.
Come on.
Right. Last, would you rather? Would you rather
Okay.
have a voice crack on stage or forgetting your lines on stage?
Oh, I think a voice crack, because I feel like a voice crack is kind of involuntary sometimes if you're just tired or whatever. And
Yeah.
but also lines is as well. Like sometimes a line can just go. But I feel like a line going, you kind of can feel it going, and then you're like, oh,
And then
and that's the
your
most
head
terrifying
gets, yeah,
feeling.
you get the better of yourself and your head just goes and then you just go
Right.
blank. You're like, what do I do?
Completely. Whereas like a voice crack, your voice can crack and then it's gone in that split second. And sometimes people don't even clock voice cracks.
Yeah, and
I've gone to see things.
it can be part of it. It could be part of the song.
This as well. This as well. And you could say, people are like, did you crack? And you're like, not me. I was 100% in. It did not crack. 100%. It works for everything.
It does. It really does. It's so
Oh,
good.
God. Oh, God. Yeah,
Oh, oh, that was a good game.
it was a good one. It was a good one. There were some tough ones. You were not wrong.
No. Thank you so much for joining me. If you had advice for your younger self, finishing on like
Mhm.
a motivational, uplifting, like empowerment advice,
Yeah.
what would you say?
Um, be kind to yourself. And also like champion other people as well. I think it's so important to like champion and to collaborate with people. Do you know what I mean? We've all got different skill sets. Some of us are better at things than other people, or I mean that's all subjective as well. Like what is better in within performing arts, and like
Yeah.
we've all got different skill sets. So actually look at like you probably at college see people and you go, wow, they're so good at that. And then you go to them and speak to them about it and go, how did you learn how to do that? Or what was your process? Do you know what I mean? Don't be afraid to have those conversations.
Yeah,
Um, chat to people. The majority of people are really blooming lovely and want other people to do well. So
exactly.
send that email, reach out to people. Don't get complacent. Like I don't get me wrong, I definitely have days where I'm like, oh, I'm rubbish, and like I'm so untalented and never gonna do anything ever again.
You're
I'm
not, you're
100% not
100%
doing it.
stunning.
I'm 100% not done it. And then the next day I'm like, I'm 100% done it. Everyone knows it. 100%. But then when you have those like high moments, like do the work. Don't rely on other people to do it for you. Even if you
Yeah,
have an agent, an amazing, like still send that email to the casting director and say, hey, just a heads up, I'm so and so. I went here and I'm doing this. I would really love to be seen for this, and I think I'd be right for it. If you really fully passionately believe you are the right person for that job,
yeah. Put
make
yourself out
yourself known.
there.
Like,
Yeah,
put yourself out to do the work. Like there's so many ways to learn as well now. Like we've got YouTube, we've got TikTok, we've got
yeah.
all this
So
amazing stuff.
much.
My TikTok feed is literally singing technique, and I constantly watch all these videos. And I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. Then I'm like, I'm going to try that, because then if I'm teaching and stuff, then I'm like, oh, I found this new thing recently. It works for me. Let's see if it works for you. And
Yes.
like sharing the knowledge. You know what I mean? We're all better and we're all stronger if we like champion each other.
Yeah, love that. That's great advice.
Yeah, that would be my advice.
Love it. And last but not least, you have to now nominate someone to come on this podcast from the musical theatre industry, one person, and I'll reach out to them to be on the podcast. Who do you think would do a
Um,
great episode?
Natalie May Paris.
Natalie May Paris. Yes.
Okay. Nat
Yes.
Paris, she is an absolute joy.
Let's get her
Like,
on.
I love her so much. Nat will do it. She's chef's kiss. And the most
Okay.
ridiculous voice you've ever heard. It's like, oh,
She is insane. Yes, let's
she's
get her on.
insane.
Let's get her
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Luke. I've loved it.
Thanks for having me. I'm
No
honored.
worries. No worries. Thank you all for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and give the Spotify podcast a 5-star review. And we'll see you in next episode.